Welcome to the Business Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Frondozo. I am happy to share this episode, which is a special collaboration with Up Next Global and the Brampton Venture Zone, celebrating BVZ's 5 years of bold founders. I was honored to sit down as the interviewer and learn directly from this community of builders, innovators, and leaders. So let's get to it. I'm joined by Usha Srinivasan, founder and CEO of BReady.ai, and the former executive director of BVZ. Usha helped launch and lead BVZ, shaping it into an inclusive innovation hub. She continues to champion diverse talent and entrepreneurship. Usha, it's such a pleasure. I guess just jumping in, I'd love it if you could share what community insights first inspired the creation of the Brampton Venture Zone.
Mm-hmm. For people who don't know, the whole reason Brampton Venture Zone came about was because the city of Brampton was really interested in bringing an innovation entrepreneurship culture to the city. And really, they were trying to do that by going to others who've done it in the past. So as some of your audience might know, TMU had the digital media zone in downtown Toronto, and they wanted to create a similar kind of activity here. The only glitch was it was May 2020, and you know what happened in 2020. We had the pandemic, so it was difficult in some ways to start something, everything that is, kind of remote. But that was basically the impetus of, starting Brampton Venture Zone and the community's need or the city's interest to start this initiative.
Digging more in terms of the interest of the activation, like where did that interest or that not pressure, but I guess that leadership come for Brampton? Like, was that a Brampton initiative to really like let's do this here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have never worked with any more motivated and individuals, both on the political side and also the economic development of the bureaucrats, extremely interested in understanding how do we engage with the people of this community. It's 800,000 people, both and a lot of them youth, right? Graduating from different universities around this area, from Algoma, Sheridan. How do we make this happen? In fact, prior to Brampton Venture Zone, they had something called Brampton Entrepreneurship Center, which still exists. They tried to do hackathons, tried to figure out how do we engage with the community here? Is there an interest? Do people want to start businesses? And that's how it all began. And then the entire Brampton Innovation District came about from that initial interest that the city realized we've got to do this. We've got to create this. Our community can't always go downtown to Toronto. We have enough of a big community to engage with. How do we pull levers? How do we go to other organizations who've done this in the past and recreate it here in Brampton? So Brampton Venture Zone came from TMU. Then they went to TBDC, which is in downtown Toronto, and that created Beehive for Startup Visa program. They went to a regional innovation center called RIC Center that created Altitude Accelerator. And so this is how Innovation District was formed. And it really came from the passion and the will of the political parties, plus the mayor and the team member staff to make this happen.
I really love the collaboration, and a good memory came up as you mentioned the Brampton Entrepreneurship. I actually ran a number of those startup weekends.
There you go.
Before COVID, so I feel a little proud to what has flourished in here. I was literally down the street here in the Brampton in the city hall, so that's really cool. Yeah. You mentioned it launching during the beginning of COVID. I'd love to just dive in terms of like how you and the team really navigated the challenges of building this new incubator culture from the ground up during COVID.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. So I believe TMU signed the contract with the city in January of 2020, but they didn't bring me on board till May. And I guess I don't shy away from challenges, but the surprising thing is during COVID, everyone, including council members, were willing to give me 20 minutes of their time.
Wow.
Because maybe they were, not as active out in events, which typically happens, right? Nothing was happening. People were like, okay, here is a person who wants to build something interesting here. I'll give you 20 minutes. And what I did when I came in is, to be honest, I don't live here. But in the end of 5 years, people thought I lived here. That's the level of commitment I had to put in. in this community. I went to every event. I learned every council member's mandate and their interests. I became a member of the Rotary Club. I'm part of the Brampton Board of Trade. And so that initial interest of understanding who is here, what is the community interest, I actually drove, the first day I got hired, I drove across Brampton, zigzagged across Brampton, and an entire day, because I just wanted to know who's here.
Right.
There's a logistics hub, manufacturing, etc., understanding the community. And that's how it all started. And then I started speaking to people. I think I must have spoken to at least 100 people during that COVID period.
Wow.
May, June, July. And that gave me the idea to launch Brampton Venture Zone. What should the strategy be? What kind of sector should we focus on? What stage of companies? All of that came from those conversations.
How do you think it would have been different if it wasn't COVID? Do you think maybe these folks don't give you the 20 minutes? Like, it was a very special time.
I honestly believe everyone that was complaining about not having people's attention, I got more attention, I thought, during COVID. You can just imagine business leaders, etc. They're all trying to status quo, keep it status quo. So they had the time to engage with you. I, in fact, had a problem lab online for 4 hours with business leaders from the healthcare community to launch our programming. We did everything online, our engagement with our startups, etc. And so it didn't seem like an impediment to me. It actually felt like an enabler in some ways.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And you really, really took the horns, the bull by its horns and really ran with it. And that's amazing. So congrats on that. I guess thinking back in terms of this experience, I know before we recorded, you were talking about some of your experiments up until starting here and working here. But like, what are the key leadership lessons now, through this experience, 5 years, that did you, really personally take away from creating the BVZ?
To be honest, community first. I always did think that. I mean, prior to this, I have led in 10 years at Mars Discovery District, and we worked with regional innovation centers across the whole province of Ontario. But for me, coming back to Brampton and being an immigrant myself and being in this community of South Asians, for me was really front and center. This is not something you can fake. You have to listen. You have to talk to people, businesses, youth, etc., to understand what their needs are and respond back to this community. So for me, it was a lesson in you need to listen to your audience 10 times more and deliver based on the need. Otherwise, they won't take you seriously.
Usha, how has the Brampton community influenced your path now beyond BVZ?
Yeah. So I think most of the people know that after 5 years of leading Brampton Venture Zone, one of the things I actually started was the Brampton Venture Expo, where we are here today. And because I felt we need our own tech event. We have a big enough community, and I felt people were not all realizing that there's amazing potential of startups in this community. So we started this with 100 people in 2020 when we started the program, and it grew. And in the last 3 years, it's been in the Rose Theater. But in September or July, we used to have it in July, actually, July of 2020, when I came in through the door, we had 1,000 people attend BVX Fest.
Wow.
And I thought, that's amazing. And it's grown to almost 2,000 people now, as you know. That's when I realized what my next pathway should be. I was actually bothered by the fact that, yes, I'm supporting startups create new jobs. And I'm going to say something which is uncomfortable, which is sometimes it's necessity entrepreneurship. Meaning people were not able to, highly qualified people were not able to find jobs in their profession when they came through the Access Entry Visa program or other programs, and they've decided to be an entrepreneur. Amazing. That's great. And so many of them came to be a Brampton Venture Zone. But what about the rest who, not every, entrepreneurship is not for everybody, right? And so how do I help the rest? And out of my journey from Brampton Venture Zone and Brampton Venture Expo, BReady was born, which is I'm the CEO founder of BReady Talent, which I'm committed to supporting newcomers, BIPOC talent find meaningful employment. And that's what, this journey has led me to that next goal in my life, to support the community in that way.
Yeah, and I really love how you came from this vision of bringing the innovation community together and identifying, another pain point that the community is having. And it may not just be specific to Brampton, but it is something that probably is
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere.
everywhere, right?
We're growing in New York and Durham and Hamilton region. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Looking back now, and we just talked about where you're going and what you're building, and that's uber exciting, and we probably need to talk about it even more so in the future. But what's the single most valuable lesson you gained from being a part, from leading Brampton Venture Zone?
Mm-hmm. This might resonate with women leaders. To be honest, sometimes, women leaders don't have the confidence. Yes, you've had an amazing career, etc. Really leading Brampton Venture Zone and having the support through TMU grew me as a leader. Like, yes, I can do this. I've built this, and it's okay that I can build and leave and leave in a good place. I mean, you heard in the announcement today that it's renewed for another 5 years. And that was my promise to TMU, that I will make sure that it's renewed, because this work is important before I exit. And so as a leader, I think it's a confidence building, right? As a female leader, especially, that, yeah, it's possible for you to do things when you have no direction, no map, no strategy presented to you, but you can create things just based on community needs.
Yeah, and first off, congratulations, because it's a success. It's something that, you could be proud of, the community could be proud of, and it's also a legacy building activity that whether it's you personally stamp name on it, but it's something that you have already passed on to other women leaders, other leaders per se, to really continue on to what you're building. And you're still part of the community, Usha.
Yes,
like, you're still in there.
Yeah, I'm here.
I guess just before I let you go, I'd love it if you could share within one sentence, how would you describe Brampton Venture Zone's role in your entrepreneurial story?
Built me into a community-focused, resilient leader.
Amazing. Usha, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to seeing the world that you're creating, that you're innovating. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
That's a wrap, folks. This episode is part of the BVZ 5 Years Bold. It was produced in collaboration with Up Next Global. I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn from the founders and the BVZ community that continues to shape the Brampton innovation ecosystem. Until next time, have yourself a 100x life.